Everyone makes mistakes. Some are small. Others leave scars that follow us for years. But what happens when that mistake becomes the only thing people remember about you? When forgiveness never arrives. When your worst moment becomes your entire identity. First, it feels like guilt, regret, maybe shame. But over time, something deeper starts to shift. You begin to question your worth. You replay the moment over and over, trying to rewrite it in your mind, hoping for a different outcome. But nothing changes. The world keeps moving, and you stay frozen, stuck in a version of yourself that no one will let you outgrow. Your brain feels this on every level. Neuroscience shows that being socially rejected or condemned activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. The brain literally interprets being unforgiven as injury. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-reflection and judgment, lights up alongside the amygdala, which handles fear and threat detection. The result is a constant mental state of alertness, like being emotionally hunted by your past. The longer you're stuck in this cycle, the worse it gets. Prolonged exposure to social rejection increases cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. Elevated cortisol over time damages the hippocampus, the part of your brain tied to memory, learning, and emotional regulation. That means you're not just feeling bad, you're biologically less able to control those feelings, less able to think clearly, and more likely to spiral into depression or anxiety. And that's just the beginning. When you're never forgiven by others or yourself, your brain enters a state very similar to solitary confinement. You might still walk around, go to work, see people, but inside you're isolated, emotionally cut off, trapped in a mental prison with no door, no key, and no one who believes you deserve to leave. This is called social exclusion. Studies show that chronic exclusion can impair cognitive performance, damage your immune system, and even increase your risk of early death. Your brain is wired for connection, not condemnation. When that connection is severed, you slowly start to unravel. You become hypersensitive, defensive, easily triggered. You start interpreting neutral events as threats. A friend doesn't text back. You assume it's because they're angry. A stranger looks at you the wrong way, you spiral into shame. Your brain isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to protect you. But in doing so, it begins rewriting your reality into a darker, more hostile version. And then comes the most dangerous part, when you stop waiting for others to forgive you, because you've already decided you're beyond redemption. You internalize the punishment. You become your own judge, jury, and executioner. The mistake becomes a loop. You carry it everywhere, into new relationships, into your self-talk, into your future. You stop applying for things you might deserve. You stop opening up to people who care. You sabotage your own growth because some part of you believes you don't deserve it. You think you're being realistic, but really you're being controlled by a version of yourself that's frozen in time. But here's the truth. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. Neuroscience also tells us that the brain is plastic, meaning it can change, recover, rewire. You are not locked into the version of you that made that mistake. But change doesn't happen by erasing the past. It happens by changing the way you carry it. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means moving forward anyway. It means acknowledging what happened, making peace with who you were, and choosing to become someone new. Not because others said you could, but because you decided your story wasn't finished. You don't need permission to heal. You need intention. You need honesty. You need to look in the mirror and say, I was wrong, but I am not worthless. I've hurt people, but I am not unlovable. I have made mistakes, but I am still capable of becoming someone better. That's where healing begins. Not with their forgiveness, with yours. If no one's ever told you this, you're allowed to move forward. You're allowed to let go. You're allowed to become someone new, no matter what they say. And if you want to understand more about how the mind works, how we break, how we recover, and how we rebuild, subscribe to MindEd. Because the most powerful thing you'll ever learn is how to free yourself from the prison inside your own mind.